Denise. Denise. It's Denise. It's Denise. It's Denise. Denise. It's a podcast party. It's a podcast party. It's a podcast party.
I gotta say, I feel like we're besties now after this. What's up, guys? It's Denise Salcedo. What's up, everyone? Welcome to Speak Now Pro Wrestling. I'm your host, Denise Salcedo, and today we are going to be chatting all about the December 21st edition of WWE NXT 2.0. So we are back to chat about a show that I think was pretty good today for the most part. I think we had a pretty decent show. I kind of enjoyed myself. We had a lot of interesting stuff that happened, including the appearance of AJ Styles, a very fun main event, and a bunch of other random stuff in between. A very hyper sexual tension moment between Zion Quinn and Elektra Lopez. We had a very hot start with Tommaso Ciampa and Braun Breaker. We are making our way towards New Year's Evil, so we got a couple matches announced. We're going to go ahead and talk about all of that and more here today. But before we get started, I want to welcome each and every single person that is watching here live, or whether you're watching the replay of this or listening to the audio version. Thank you guys so much for always coming out and showing some love, showing some support. Before we get started, as always, this is a friendly reminder that this stream is 100% interactive. Feel free to send in your thoughts. Feel free to send in some comments, however you guys want. And if you want to share it, send in a super chat. You are more than welcome to. We actually got our first super chat of the evening, so thank you so much to Brandon Rosen for kicking us off here on today's show and showing some love. I thank you very much. Let's see what Brandon has to say. Brandon sends in a super chat saying, did anyone notice the piped-in crowd chatter? I heard it during Ciampa's opening promo, and it was annoying. While I hate piped-in cheers and boos, I can see WWE's logic in using them. Why use this? I did not notice any piped in chatter. Do you mean like fans having like conversations that weren't real? Is that what you mean by this? Because I did not catch that whatsoever. If anybody else did, please let me know, because I legitimately did not catch that. Like, I did not catch it. So I do not know if they did or if they didn't. I just know that I did not notice it whatsoever. But thank you so much for pointing it out. We'll see if anybody else caught that. We got a super chat from Cadillac Carson. Thank you so much to Cadillac, who says, okay, I wasn't digging Waller at first, but now I'm digging this guy. He's got something. I told you all. I knew it. You know, I'm usually like, I can spot. Okay, I'm very picky with who I like and with who I don't like. And if somebody manages to capture my attention, I will know it. I'm like, okay, if you manage to capture my attention, you've got something, because I'm a little bit picky in who I like and who I don't like, especially with these new characters that we've been seeing on NXT 2.0. And immediately, I had been saying for weeks now, I remember I kept telling everybody on the show, let's stop giving Grayson Waller all of these L's. There's something there. There's upside with this guy, blah, blah, blah. And as we've progressed, it has obviously improved a whole lot for Grayson Waller. He is now the biggest jerk on NXT 2.0, but you know what? It is working, because not only was he the one that got the high profile moment to essentially attack Johnny Gargano after he's basically doing his goodbye from NXT speech, but now he managed to have a in-ring promo with none other than the phenomenal one, AJ Styles. I'm sorry, but that is a major win for Grayson Waller. He's been put in some interesting programs on NXT, at least to say the least. Thank you so much to Cadillac for getting us going with that super chat as well. And all right, let's see what we got here. All right, let's get into this show and kind of break down a lot of what kind of went down, some of the good moments, etc. What was good, what was not good, all of that good stuff. So I do want to start off by saying that one of the things there's two things that I've been noticing from this new NXT that I hadn't mentioned before. One is that at least for today and maybe even the week prior, I kind of feel like NXT is finally starting to get its groove. It's starting to get a proper flow that doesn't feel so overwhelming. For like the beginning of NXT 2.0, it was kind of hard to get to kind of have like a stable, steady relationship with the show. And by that I mean they were giving us so much within these like 2 hours that I kind of felt supremely overwhelmed, especially with all of the new faces that we were seeing. And they kind of trickled it down and they've been trimming certain stuff. And this episode of NXT felt a little bit more well thought out. There was things that they did that I liked the flow of the show. There was still some things that I wish they wouldn't have done just because they were similar to some of the other segments that they had on the show. But overall, the flow of the show is feeling a lot better. It's feeling a little bit more confident. On top of that, we've been getting more main roster stars featured on NXT, which I'm sure they're obviously doing it so that people could come in, get them ratings going, get people talking about the product, because they really need people to talk about NXT 2.0. And unless it's something huge, you don't really have a lot of people talking about the show. So, they had Matt Riddle. They've had him now for like 2 weeks doing all of those vignettes with MSK. And then today you had AJ Styles. I think that is something that I like. I like that they're doing that with this show, because this show heavily, heavily needs it. When you have so many people that you still don't know, that you still haven't gotten invested in with, you're going to need, people like Matt Riddle and AJ Styles to come in and, do little things here and there. It doesn't hurt the show whatsoever. It adds so much more to the programming, and it adds so much to all of these characters. AJ Styles interacting with Grayson Waller today, for example, was a good way of elevating Grayson Waller and just making things on NXT 2.0 feel like they actually mean something, when somebody like AJ Styles is actually recognizing something that was said or done on the show. So there we go with all of that. We got a comment from Justin Martin who says that tonight's show was an entertaining show, start to finish. It had a wide variety of interesting stuff. There's hope for this NXT. There is hope for this NXT. Like, there are certain parts of this show that I kind of find myself liking even a little bit more sometimes than Raw. And I don't feel that way about the entire show, but there are moments where I'm like, you know what? This kind of felt a lot stronger than Raw. This, these first 20 minutes kind of felt a little bit stronger, blah, blah, blah. Again, it's not an everyday thing, but there are little occurrences here and there. We got a comment from Zeno Hour saying that this show was a solid show, much better than the past few weeks, because they're starting to find their groove. They're starting to find their rhythm as to how to actually move about this show. All right, so let's get into it. We kicked it off with a pretty hot segment between two of the biggest stars right now on NXT 2.0, and this essentially led to our first announcement for one of the big matches coming up at New Year's Evil, which is taking place on the January 4th edition of NXT, and this was Tommaso Ciampa and Braun Breaker. So basically what we need to talk about here is that Tommaso Ciampa literally came and he was fired up, man. He was so fired up, and he's basically telling Braun Breaker, he said a lot, but to kind of cut it short and read in between the lines, he was telling Braun Breaker, you ain't shit. You ain't shit, bro. You ain't NXT championship material. You're not like past champions like Shinsuke Nakamura. And he starts naming, Finn Balor and all of these other past champions from the old era of NXT, because they've all been from the old era of NXT. But you get what I mean? Like, he's been going out there and he's basically telling Braun Breaker, like, you're not championship material, this and that. He gets so fired up. He even mocks Braun Breaker and his family. And he says, he starts mocking his family and saying like, oh, they're all just going to be barking and rooting for you and this and that. So Tommaso Ciampa is really getting in Braun Breaker's face. And then just when you think that he's fired up to a certain extent, Tommaso Ciampa literally just like slaps the hell out of Braun Breaker, just slaps him. And I'm thinking, oh, this is heating up. Like, I was waiting for Braun Breaker to react. I was waiting for him to say something, because the entire time he was kind of just taking it. He was just listening to what Ciampa was saying. And then the second that he slapped him across the face, you can literally see Braun Breaker snap. And Braun Breaker just kind of lifts him up over his shoulder and really shows his strength by lifting up Tommaso Ciampa, and then kind of just like tosses him on the floor. He doesn't do anything really other than that. This was just really to taunt and to scare Tommaso Ciampa. So he kind of leaves the ring, and Ciampa kind of has all of the words that he said kind of thrown back at him, because he's kind of sitting there and he's sort of fearful of the strength that Braun Breaker has. So I liked this. I love this opening segment. We now know that we're going to get Braun Breaker versus Tommaso Ciampa at New Year's Evil for the NXT Championship. I would be absolutely shocked. And I said this last time too, because I really thought Braun Breaker was going to win the title last time too. But this time, I am more sure that Braun Breaker is walking out champion at New Year's Evil. I would be shocked if he did not walk out as champion at New Year's Evil. So now, guys, how did you feel about this? What did you think of Tommaso Ciampa's fiery promo, slapping the hell out of Braun Breaker? Braun Breaker essentially showing him just a little bit of what he can do, even though they've already been in a match together, and Tommaso Ciampa should know that already. But still, send in your thoughts here. We got some funny comments, and I'm going to read one right now. But let's see what people are saying. This one's from Daniel Rodriguez. He says, people got to understand that WWE and NXT are doing a rebuild. Just like in every sport, nobody likes that their team is going through a rebuild. But fans are going to be patient, although I get it's WWE, laughing, crying emoji face. Yeah, and that's the thing, guys. And we've talked about this because this like evolution of NXT 2.0, every single week, I don't know what I'm going to expect. There are some weeks where I'm like, you know what? This isn't terrible. And then there's other weeks when I'm thinking, my God, why did I sign up to do these NXT review shows? I think to myself, I could be doing something else. But then there's other weeks where I'm like, all right, I'm feeling myself and I'm feeling the show. So it kind of is hit or miss. We've already established what people are going to tune into the show and what people are not going to be tuning in to the show. But thank you so much to Daniel Rodriguez for sending in this comment. Let's see what we got here. We got a comment from Justin who says, Ciampa's promo was outstanding. Braun made a statement in the end. Excellent way to build up hype for a big title match. Really looking forward to the rematch. And Bonkers IFC says, nice Grinch gear earlier. I don't know what you're talking about. I have a very busy schedule. The Grinch is a good friend of mine and decided to fill in for me on the stream, man. Let's see what we got here. We got so many different comments. This one is from Cadillac Carson, who says, with Ciampa and other veterans are in NXT, it's hard to see them there instead of the main roster, but they serve a great purpose in helping the younger talent get better. I agree. It's still a little bit weird sometimes, and I've been saying this for a while. There's a lot of talent that because of the new direction that NXT has gone in, there's so many talent that kind of feel like they don't fit in anymore. Tommaso Ciampa was one of those talents, and Pete Dunne was another example of those talents. Johnny Gargano, I mean, he's gone now, but he was an example of that. And it's kind of like, I want to commend, and thank you for reminding me of this with your comment. I want to commend, I want to give props to Tommaso Ciampa here, because in a situation where he kind of feels like he shouldn't be the champion in this new NXT, because he doesn't kind of like match the aesthetic that they are going with, the vibe that they are going with this new NXT. He has done everything in his power to not essentially stick out like a sore thumb in a bad way. Obviously, Tommaso Ciampa still sticks out in a different way because he's not like everybody else. He's not like all of the new faces. But at the exact same time, he's done enough to sort of blend in and weave himself and find a way to work with this new NXT. It's kind of like you work with what you're given, or it just doesn't work out for you, right? And Tommaso Ciampa is doing just that. So I do want to give him credit. But we did have a funny comment that I wanted to read from Bastian, who says, Denise, how can you enjoy things like NXT when you go to GCW and stuff like that? Shows that are actually good. Look, first of all, I'm always fair, even though some people don't think I am. I'm always fair to what I watch, guys. Like, legitimately, I'm always fair. I'm honest when I tell you I like something on NXT, and I'm honest when I tell you that I don't like something on NXT. But I go into every show with a different mentality because I know what to expect out of every single show I watch, whether I'm going in to watch a GCW product, or if I'm going in to watch AEW, or if I'm going in to watch New Japan, or I'm going in to watch Lucha. I know what to expect from those companies and those brands, and that includes WWE. I know what to expect, so I kind of look at things with a different lens as I go through that. But I do definitely I find entertainment in a lot of different things, guys. Uh, Daniel Rodriguez says, Denise, let's be honest. I know you low-key enjoy doing NXT reviews out of all the WWE content right now. It is interesting to do the NXT reviews because I'm telling you, you don't know what to expect. And there's so many new talent that I'm like, who the hell's this? All right, I'm going to learn about this person, So it is what it is, guys. It is what it is. All right, let's go ahead and continue on. So so good way to kick off the show. And we kind of continued that because this next match, I kind of feel 50-50 about this match. And I kind of tweeted that out, but I really didn't give any sort of explanation as to what I meant by that. And I kind of did it on purpose because, guys, it is so hard to tweet an opinion on Twitter because you want to give so much background and so much information as to why you say what you say. But it's so hard because the second you tweet something, it's like, how dare you say this, So it's really hard to get an opinion out there, especially when there's so much more you want to say. So I kind of just left it as I felt 50-50. So now let me get into what this whole deal was, what happened and what went down. So Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez, they had this street fight. What I really liked is that they started this street fight prior to them doing their entrances, going out to the ring and, doing the whole spiel with the ballot. Well, obviously you have to have the ballot, but you get me. Like they didn't do the entrances or anything like that. They just started brawling backstage. I love this because why the hell not? These are two women who have a history of hating each other. Dakota Kai and Raquel were best of friends. And then Dakota Kai absolutely did Raquel dirty by costing her championship and costing her to lose her bout against Mandy Rose. So why shouldn't they shouldn't be waiting to make their entrances to get out there and get their hands on each other. The story that they are telling here is that they just want to beat the hell out of each other. So I liked how this started because right away you just saw Raquel tossing Dakota Kai and like literally everything, trying to practically kill her with all of the production stuff in the back area. I love this. This felt very cool. The only thing that I wish commentary would have sort of adjusted in this was that commentary was more so focused on when is this match actually starting? This match hasn't started. When is this match going to get started? Instead of kind of really pushing the story of, hey, these two women hate each other and they just want to get their hands on each other. What are they doing? Like they're getting this match started even before it starts. I think that they could have kind of refocused a little bit on what they were actually saying during this backstage brawl, just to kind of elevate the brawl itself a little bit more, because it was cool what they were going out with, what Raquel was doing to Dakota Kai. There was a moment where she literally tried running one of those like little carts right into Dakota Kai, and knowing that we've seen her put Dakota Kai in lockers, we've seen her put her in trash cans. So I'm thinking to myself, is she gonna put Dakota Kai someplace? Like, what's gonna happen? So I did kind of feel like that could have been adjusted a little bit. But then we finally get some referees there. It kind of took them a really long time, but we get some referees. We go to commercial. We come back, and this match officially gets started over on the ring. So you have this match. Now, here's the thing, and this is why I kind of felt 50-50 on it. So once we actually got to the ring, there wasn't really that much time. There really wasn't that much that we saw. I think that they could have done a lot more cool spots. There was a moment where they set up a table, didn't even use the table. And in the end, we see Raquel Gonzalez sort of just really quickly defeat Dakota Kai after giving her La Chingona bomb onto the trash can bin. So for me, I kind of felt like, oh, that's it? Because the way that they were doing this, I wanted it to be more of a, I don't know, just given the story that they've been telling, I was expecting more of a spectacle. So they started off good, but then everything else sort of just went, to me, it just wasn't as strong. The second portion, when the match legitimately started, did not feel as strong. I thought that it could have only elevated and got a lot better. So that was my like first little gripe with it. The second one was, so we pinned Dakota Kai, right? And then it's like immediately they're saying, okay, commentary is really putting over the fact that that they're done. That's it. Raquel Gonzalez can put Dakota Kai in the past. It's over. She already defeated her. And I'm thinking to myself, why? What is going on here? Like for me, I kind of don't like that so quickly they just shoved Dakota Kai out of like the women's picture. Like it was like, that's it. She's gone. Obviously, Raquel gets the win. So she, starts calling out Mandy Rose. But I kind of felt like they were putting, like Dakota Kai is stuck in a situation where she is just constantly being shoved to the side. You have Cora Jade coming out. Cora Jade, they're pushing her. They're giving her a name. Good. But it's like, okay, you also have something with Dakota Kai, but she just keeps getting pushed to the side. And that for me, I'm thinking of everything that she's done leading up to this point. I do not think she should be getting pushed to the side. So that's kind of my other thing where I didn't really like it because it kind of was just like, oh, there, she beat Dakota Kai. Dakota Kai, dupe, leave, erase her. That's kind of how that felt. And I really wasn't all of that. I didn't really like that. I really, really didn't like that. And then they also, like, the entire match, Raquel dominated this match. Dakota Kai got a little bit of offense in, not very much. It was pretty much Raquel dominating the entire thing. So I kind of felt like they made Dakota Kai not look like a threat. Like, she didn't look like a threat to me in this match. So now afterwards, we get Raquel calling out Mandy Rose. Mandy Rose does not come out. Instead, Cora Jade comes out and Raquel basically tells her, like, you're a nice girl. I like you. You've been proving yourself and all of that, but I'm going to get my championship back and I don't care who I have to go through to get my title back. And so Cora Jade is kind of like, yeah, well, I might get there first. And then we get a very sexy, very, very sexy video by Mandy Rose, who's poolside. And she's doing this video and she basically says that at New Year's Evil, she is going to defend her championship belt against both Cora Jade and Raquel Gonzalez. So we are going to get a triple threat match. Then we have Jade, JC Jane and Gigi Dolan essentially come out and attack both women while they were being distracted by the video. So I feel that in this triple threat match, I feel that they are going to essentially use Raquel as a way. I think she's going to be the one to take the pin in this match because I think we're still leading into we're going to lead to Mandy Rose and Cora Jade. Mandy Rose and Cora Jade is going to be the story after this. So I do think that Raquel Gonzalez is kind of just there, believe it or not, to take the pin, to keep Mandy protected as champion, have her retain her championship, and to also keep Cora Jade as this like hot up and coming phenomenon. Or what they could also do is have Raquel Gonzalez be the one to cost Mandy the win and have Cora Jade win in the way that she has been winning the last couple of weeks, because they've sort of had Cora Jade win in these like super random ways where it's kind of like she saw an opportunity and she took the opportunity. So there's a chance that can happen too. If they want to give Cora Jade the championship already, I think it's way too early, but they could definitely play it different ways. I do not, though, expect Raquel to become champion again. I definitely don't think she's going to become champion again, at least not right now. So thoughts, guys? How did you feel about the street fight? How did you feel about the triple threat announcement? Any predictions for the triple threat? Send in your thoughts and I'll kind of go in through a couple of these comments and see what people are saying. Okay, we got a comment from Pile Driver Finisher who says, Raquel carried that big metal thing and Just Grocery jousting Dakota into the steel door. I was like, when does this match start? See, I wasn't really focusing on when does this match start or when is this going to match start. I just thought, okay, cool. I'm really looking forward to just kind of seeing an ass whooping. That's what I want to see. It's definitely what I want to see. This is a comment from Chad West who says the street fight was a pretty good way to settle their beef. Yeah, I mean, their beef has been it's been such a long story and such a deep story that you could obviously do a little bit more with that. Like it could be something at a pay-per-view. It could be at a New Year's Evil, stuff like that. Roy Rodrigo sends in a comment saying, love the match, wasn't a fan of the after stuff, but it leads to a triple threat, so that works. And let's see what else we got here. This one's from Jen, who says, great match, but disappointed they never let Dakota get the win. It kind of just feels like she was shoved to the side. And I just think that they have so much with Dakota Kai, so much. But I think the way they see it, it's like it's not her time yet. So we're just not going to do anything with her just yet. Let's see what we got here. This is a comment from Grande Hero, who says, I was really into this match at first, but then I had an overwhelming feeling of dread for Dakota's future. I don't trust main roster creative if she's called up. Yeah, that's the kind of the situation where we find ourselves with everybody, where it's like they deserve to go to the main roster, but damn, what is going to happen to them once they get to the main roster? Alrighty, let's go ahead and continue on. So right after this, let's get into Harland and Joe Gacy. So last week we saw an awesome spot. So first of all, last week we were introduced to Harland and he had his in-ring debut. It went pretty good. And then he had this awesome spot where he literally just like snaps and throws Brian Kendrick off the top of the stairs to the bottom of the stairs. But the way that the camera was shot, because you're getting the low angle on this, it looks pretty phenomenal. Like you just see him flying. Like it was a great shot. So Harland and Joe Gacy come on and they basically say, you know, Brian Kendrick triggered Harland. He triggered him by calling him a freak. I do not recall, by the way, him calling him a freak, but apparently he called him a freak. I missed that part clearly. So he tells him like, oh, you triggered Harland by calling him a freak, and that's why he did what he did. So then later on, Brian Kendrick comes out and does a video and basically says, you know, he's in a neck brace, but then afterwards he basically says that he quits as like being a coach, and that now he is essentially going to be challenging Harland for a match, and he challenges Harland, and now we're gonna see Harland and Brian Kendrick next week. So I'm like, dude, holy shit. I did not expect that whatsoever. I feel like it's been centuries since I've seen Brian Kendrick wrestle, because I know that he was doing 205 Live, but let's be real, and nobody was watching 205 Live. So I didn't watch anything that he was doing in 205 Live back, you know, last year. I did not see any of that. So for me, it's been a long time. I know he did the Crown Jewel Battle Royal. God, I don't know, 2019. So for me, and I don't even remember that. So it's been a very long time since I feel like I've seen him wrestle. So I'm pretty excited about that. I think I think that one's going to be a good one here. So yeah, Twitch Face 4 says, and not just any Brian Kendrick, the Brian Kendrick. Exactly. Malcolm Mitchell says the ring will not be a safe space for Brian Kendrick next week. I am expecting him to get obliterated. Frick, I can't talk. I am pretty positive he's going to get his ass whooped. Like, that is it. I'm expecting Harland to just like, yeah, it's not going to go very well. It's going to be fun, though. It's going to be fun. Alrighty, guys, before I move on to our next topic of conversation, I do want to remind you guys all that tomorrow, AEW Dynamite Holiday Bash is going to be happening, and I'm pretty excited for the show. Right after I will be here, I will be streaming live, doing my AEW Dynamite post-review show. Those are my favorite streams of the week. They're my most popular streams of the week, and they are so fun to just come on here and talk about the show with each and every single one of you guys. So if you want to come back on tomorrow, I will be here immediately after Dynamite ends. So you guys can come in, hang out, we'll chat. It'll be a great time, and it'll also be a nice little holiday episode. The Creed brothers versus Grizzled Young Veterans. Oh my God, I was so stoked for this match. I was like, hell yeah, you know, Grizzled Young Veterans are such a good team. The Creed brothers, I'm such a fan of the Creed brothers. Let's do this. And this match started off and I was like, yes, I'm liking what they are doing. I liked what they were doing at the start of this match, because they essentially were showcasing just how strong the Creed brothers are. They were allowing them to show their strength. They were impressing everybody with just like their intensity and their force, and they were even surprising the Grizzled Young Veterans who were seeing their videos, by the way. They posted videos on social media of their workouts, and I like that they actually showed them on the show, because they should. And so Anyway, so I was really enjoying this match. I was getting into it. I was kind of expecting a really good match from this. But then they started to add a bunch of other little things that were just distracting us from what could have been a fun match. What I wanted to see was the Creed brothers just like show how scary and powerful they are, right? That's what I wanted to see. But instead, we had Jacket Time come out, and all of a sudden, they bring out a table and they start to do commentary. And I'm thinking, okay, that's cute, whatever. Don't take away from the match. But then it kept going. Then you have Briggs and Jensen coming out. They come out and try to distract the Grizzled Young Veterans. Okay, I'm thinking that's it. This match ain't gonna be what I was expecting it to be. They already started including all of these outside, interference things. I didn't like it anymore. And then we end up essentially getting, I don't even know what happened. I think it was like a DQ or something. Everybody just starts brawling. Dude, I was so disappointed. I was so disappointed. So extremely disappointed because I wanted an actual match between these two teams and I was digging it. I was so interested. And then just with everything else that happened, I was like, out. Very disappointed. Man. All right. This is a comment from Ray Rodrigo in regards to Harland saying, I had a feeling that was going to happen. He'll be a great talent to get Harland over. Yeah, he will. Will be a good one here. Really good one here. We got people basically saying Jacket Time is not is quote unquote insufferable. I'm not a fan of the Jacket Time team. In terms of the characters, because they're kind of just making fun of them. Too stereotypical, not really interested, but let's move on. Dexter Lumis versus Trick Williams. Here's a question for you guys in the chat that are watching right now. Is the Dexter Lumis character getting old now? Is it stale? Is it boring? Is it dull? Is it getting old now? Do you still pop for the Dexter Lumis character? Do you still react to the creepiness that he's supposed to bring, what he's supposed to be doing? Do you still react to it? I'm curious because as I was watching this match, they've been telling the story that Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes are afraid of Dexter Lumis, that he gives them the heebie-jeebies, especially for Trick Williams. And I'm thinking to myself, why? Why? Okay, I can imagine getting creeped out the first time if somebody spook scares you. Okay, cool. But he's just a man. He's just a man and you are a wrestler. I'm done with this whole like scary things. Like there's nothing scary about Dexter Lumis anymore. It's just the creepiness. Okay, he has a creepy mustache and creepy eyes. I've seen it, been there, done that. To me, it's getting, I feel like at some point there's got to be a character change. I don't know when it's going to come, but I feel like it needs to come because now I'm just kind of like, if you keep telling me the exact same story over and over again, I'm not going to react anymore. And that's where I'm at with the Dexter Lumis character. I'm not reacting to Trick Williams being afraid of him. I'm not. Instead, I'm questioning Trick Williams as to why are you so afraid of him? Like, man the hell up. They have a nice little match, Dexter Lumis and Trick Williams. It was fun. We get some little a nice back and forth. Dexter puts him to sleep, gets the win. But let's see what you guys think. We got a super chat from Brandon Rosen who says, you're exposing the business, Denise. What did I say? What did I say? Thank you so much, Brandon, for sending in that super chat. CM Pep says he's married now, so there's your change. I mean, you're right. He is married now, although they were doing this whole thing for a bit where there was kind of a little bit, they were teasing a little bit of Indy Hartwell and Dexter Lumis not really being on the same page. Indy was like heartbroken when he was away, and then all of a sudden he disappeared, and then he came back, and Indy was distracted, and now we haven't seen any interaction between Indy and Dexter, who are essentially still husband and wife. It's very, I don't know. M. Durrett says, I feel like Dexter needs to be a main roster at this point. His gimmick may suit Goofy Raw comedy more. Ron says he's like if Stone Cold was a serial killer. I don't see it. I don't see it like that. Patel Ron 6 says if Dexter Lumis's character seems seems stale. I feel the same way about Orange Cassidy. Interesting. I did not expect for that to go that direction. I thought you were going to say something polar opposite. Polar opposite of that. Let's see what else we got here. Let's go through a couple more comments. Let's see what people are saying. Okay, we got some. I don't know if people are joking when they say they still pop anymore. I legitimately do not know. All right, let's see. We got some people saying stale. Some people are just like whatever's. All right, Daniel Rodriguez says, "Got to admit, Trick Williams is funny, and he is helping getting the act of Carmelo Hayes over, just like Gacy and Harland." Ray Rodriguez has been a Dexter fan before he was Dexter. He's been doing whatever he's asked and is killing it. Okay, so clearly not stale yet. I think for the most part, people are cool with it. All right, my bad. It's not working for me. Not working for me no more. All right. Oh God. Matt Hensley says he's been stale to me since the first time I saw him. We got too many different levels of extreme here, guys. Too many different levels. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and jump into our next topic here. Grayson Waller and AJ Styles. All right. This was like the big important moment of the show because it's AJ Styles and he's coming over to NXT and we're all excited. AJ Styles recently broke up with his partner, Omaz, and they are no longer a team. They broke up on Raw after Omaz decided he no longer wanted to team up with AJ Styles. So then Grayson Waller, and it was promoted that we knew AJ Styles was going to be on NXT. They had promoted it, so good for them. He finally arrives. Grayson Waller kicks this off by basically bearing Hall of Fame speeches and saying that, you know, everybody's always thanking everybody and blah, blah, blah. Great. Then afterwards, we see AJ Styles finally come out and he confronts Grayson Waller. And Grayson Waller basically starts off by saying that he is the one that single-handedly brought AJ Styles to NXT, that he is the one that this and that he is the reason. And look at him. He's such a big star. He's the face of the NXT. He went from being the kid that has potential to being the next NXT superstar, or being the top NXT superstar is what Grayson Waller was saying. And AJ Styles basically tells him like, shut up, dude, shut up. So Grayson starts to mock him and tells him like, what, your meal ticket, Omaz, left you and now all of a sudden you're here trying to help out the new kid. And AJ basically tells him like, you clearly just want the AJ Styles rub. And then AJ Styles starts to bury him by telling him, look, I see potential in some of the guys on NXT. He says, I see potential in Braun Breaker. I see potential in Tony D'Angelo. I see potential in Carmelo Hayes, but you, the jury is still out on you because I do not see you as a star. He then continues on to tell freaking Grayson Waller. He tells him, you do not care about wins and losses. You only care about swipes and likes, mocking his social media character and all of that. So that is kind of how this whole thing plays out and what essentially is said. So now my question is, are we going to see Grayson Waller versus AJ Styles? Is that where we're going with this? Because I don't know. I kind of felt like, I don't know. Are we going to see AJ Styles versus Grayson Waller? It just feels so random to me. Like even how this all, started to unfold, it still kind of feels random to me. And it like, in a way, like there's so many pros to this. Like there's a pro of, bringing in main roster stars to NXT to get a little bit more eyeballs on the product. This elevated Grayson Waller so much because like I said earlier, he got the Johnny Gargano spot and now look, he's literally across the ring from AJ Styles, one of the best. So are we going to get the match or is it going to be just something where it's like they have beef, but it's never actually settled? I'm curious. Let's see what we got here. Send in some thoughts. We got a super chat from Pyroplasma. Thank you so much for sending this in. Pyroplasma says, this world belongs to us. This world belongs to us. HH Hot Pie says, Denise, help Grayson get some followers. I should just come out and be like, hey, Grayson, I got more followers than you. Never mind. I was trying to make a joke, but you know what? It backfired. Screw the damn joke. I didn't have the joke set up, guys. Screw the joke. It's not going to happen. I was trying to mock something, but it's not going to work out. It's not going to work out. Let's see what we're saying. Let's see what we got people saying in this chat here. Someone just feels that we're not going to see this match. It's just going to be a ratings boost. Some people think we'll see it at New Year's Evil. It would just feels like a step down, guys. It would feel like a step down for AJ to have this match with Grayson Waller at New Year's Evil. It would just feel too random, you know, like a major step down. And I get it. It would help NXT, but I don't know. It feels a little, I don't know. All righty. Grande Hero says, is AJ a heel or a face? He was acting more like a face tonight. So we were having this discussion on the Raw post show yesterday where we were talking about whether or not Amaz, who's the baby face and who's the heel, and Amaz and AJ Styles. And I started off saying one thing, and then I swapped it by the end, and I was starting to think to myself, damn, I don't even think I really know. But in my eyes, or the story that we've been seeing on Raw, in my eyes, Amaz is the heel. He's the one who doesn't want to be friends with AJ Styles. He's the one who doesn't want to be teammates with AJ Styles and more. And AJ is sort of like the clueless one who's like, why isn't this a thing anymore? You know? So AJ Styles is technically a babyface right now, I think, but I don't think he's supposed to be. I think they want AJ Styles to be the heel in this and Amaz to be the babyface in this. But I see Amaz as the heel. So then that makes AJ Styles the babyface. I don't know anymore, guys. I don't know anymore. Please, if somebody else has a brilliant idea, send it in, or point of view, please send it in. This is coming from Ron, who says, AJ's at a point in his career where he wants to help elevate the younger talent, so we may be seeing scenarios like this for the rest of his time in WWE. I get it, and I think there's a nice balance of doing that, but I also want to see AJ have the matches that we all want to see. Like, there's dream matches of those good programs, those good stories. All right. Malcolm Mitchell says AJ is definitely a face now. Right? Pile Driver says this is beneath AJ. Zeno Hour says there's 3 possibilities. AJ has a run in NXT, or Grayson gets called up next month, or WWE does nothing. We might see the latter. All right. Roderick Strong challenges Carmelo Hayes to a match at New Year's Evil. We get a segment of vignettes, yeah. MSK and Matt Riddle with their shaman. They're riding scooters. Then they get run over by a car. And then it turns out that it was all a dream. But then it wasn't a dream. That's literally what happened, guys. That's literally what happened. I was so confused by this. I thought, wait, so this whole time, the entire thing was a dream, because they were sitting in the exact same spot that they were sitting in when this first all started. But then it wasn't a dream. Matt Riddle did come out and they did go ride scooters. And then I don't know. It was like a dream, and then it wasn't a dream. But then someone please explain this to me. I don't know what's happening anymore. I thought I understood this story, and then I just stopped understanding it. My God. Matt Kensley says, weed joke, stoner comedy equals random stuff. Yeah, and I think they had, Ron says it's the weed. I figured. And I think they had a photo of people smoking weed when the bus passed by. I think I caught that. I could have rewinded, but I didn't want to put the extra effort in rewinding 10 seconds, so I didn't. But I'm pretty sure that's what we saw on the bus. I'm pretty positive. But it was just weird. It was weird because I really thought they dreamt the whole thing when they got run over by the car. But then apparently they did not. They just dreamt the part where they got run over, but not the actual, like, everything that happened within the last couple of weeks. So yeah, I just don't know anymore. Super chat from Brandon Rosen, who says, so all of those MSK skits we had to sit through were just a dream? No, just lazy writing. Shaking my head. No, they weren't just a dream. They weren't. That's what I thought too, but they weren't. Okay, so if you guys remember, MSK started off sitting down in the park or wherever the hell they were sitting down. There was a bus that passed by. They go on this adventure to go find Shaman. They drive. They go on an airplane. They get to the wrong location. They finally get to the right location. They meet the Shaman, Matt Riddle. They get scooters. Okay, so then Today, they're riding their scooters, but then they get in a car accident where a car runs them all over and the sandals go flying and this and that. And then they wake up and they're in the exact same spot that they were in the beginning of this whole thing before they even went on this adventure. And I'm thinking, oh, so it was all a dream? This never happened? But then we get another bus that passes by, and then Matt Riddle comes out, and then he has the scooter, and then they have the RK Bro shirt. And so it wasn't a dream. I guess the only part that was supposed to be a dream was the part where they got run over. So it was very confusing at that point. Anyways, thank you so much, Brandon Rosen. I hope I did not confuse you. I'm very sorry if I did. Matt Kinsley says it was a drug PSA all along. Don't do drug hits. You'll end up getting hit by a car. Oh, goodness. All right. Let's go ahead and jump into our next topic. Von Wagner versus Idris Enofe. I don't know what to say. This was not good. This was bad. This was not good. Robert Stone is watching. Von Wagner, I thought this was going to be a squash. I thought Von Wagner was just going to squash Idris. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, he's going to squash them. All right, that's what I'm expecting. Von Wagner is the guy they're pushing. That's what I'm expecting from this match. Instead, they have Idris pin him. Idris wins this match. Very quickly, I may add. Wins this match. But then afterwards, Von Wagner attacks him, gets his heat back, and absolutely nobody gets over. I am not more impressed by Von Wagner, and I'm not more impressed by Idris Enofe. And I like Idris. I've been putting him over every single week. I think there's so much there with him. Yeah, that's what happened. We got a super chat from Malcolm Mitchell who says, AJ motioned to the crowd for support on Raw before attempting the forearm on Omos. He's experienced enough not to try that if he's supposed to be a heel. Thank you, Malcolm, for sending in a super chat. Let's see. Jesus. Let's see. This is from Zeno Hour, who says he liked this. A little character development for Vaughn. Really? I didn't see it. I did not see no character development for Von Wagner. He was mad and he attacked the guy. I don't know if that's a personality. I wouldn't call that a personality. I don't know what that was, but it was just, nah. That was a hard pass for me. All right, let's get into Elektra Lopez versus Io Shirai. This was another one that we've been seeing this mind games between Zion Quinn and Elektra Lopez. And so Elektra Lopez is having this match with Io Shirai. And they're doing their match. Zion Quinn comes out and he puts, I think they were dollar bills or money. He made them into like a little flower and he put it in his mouth, kind of like a rose. So some origami type stuff. I don't know. And then he makes like a little, so he uses this as a mistletoe. So he gets on the apron and he does this little thing where he like holds up the mistletoe over his head. First, he puts it in his mouth, takes off his jacket, has a very sexy moment. I'm like, oh. And then he goes and he puts over the mistletoe over Elektra Lopez. And they have this moment, this very, very steamy moment where they lock eyes and ooh, she wants him so bad and he wants her so bad. And I was like, oh, where's this going? Let's see what's happening. I hate it. I hate myself because I found myself interested in this. I hate myself for it. I was like, oh, where are they going with this? I was interested. Sue me. I wanted to know where this was going. What was going to happen? My God, I felt so generic. I felt like generic female 101. That is how I felt with this. Anyways, it lasts a split second. Santos Escobar comes, yanks his feet down. Io Shirai gets the win, defeats Elektra Lopez. She loses the match because of Zion Quinn, essentially. So that's what went down. So Zion was essentially messing with her and making her think that he wanted her, but he did not. So do they want each other? Do they not want each other? At this point, I just don't know because they are both playing mind games with one another. If you ask me, they work perfectly for each other because none of them makes sense. They're just playing. Love is a battlefield, ladies and gentlemen. Love is a battlefield. All right. Zeno Howard says they got Denise. They got me. Oh, they did. Sam Fine says, how dare you be so basic? I hate myself for being so basic. Justin Martin says this story is guilty pleasure. This is my guilty pleasure story. Oh my God. Oh my God. I have a guilty pleasure story, and it is the story of the star-crossed lovers. God. You know, I used to have respect for myself. Cameron Munford says the match was okay, mostly because of Io. She's awesome, and I'm the one for seeing these love stories in NXT. But Quinn Lopez Escobar situation could be fun to watch. A little telenovela vibe. It is definitely a telenovela. We saw that coming, bro. Like, pretty soon they're gonna make a whole thing like she gonna have his baby, but then it's gonna be like freaking Joaquin Wild's kid. But then all of a sudden they're gonna throw in Jacket Time, and Jacket Time's gonna be the real father. They're gonna make a whole thing out of this. Like, if you watch telenovelas, that's how the whole thing works. Someone's gonna die, but then their evil twin is gonna come out. I mean, I've watched plenty of telenovelas in my day to know how all this stuff works. All right, let's continue on. Let's continue on. All right, what's after this? What the hell happened after this? Oh, yeah, we already talked about Brian Kendrick. All right, cool. We main event time, everybody. Pete Dunne versus Tony D'Angelo. This was a fun match. Like, instantly, the second that I saw that they were going this direction with Tony D'Angelo and Pete Dunne, I thought Pete Dunne was the perfect opponent for Tony D'Angelo, because Pete Dunne is, you know, he's Pete Dunne. He's going to come out. He's going to kick butt. Tony D'Angelo is supposed to be this bad, you know, street person guy. I don't know. So they having this match, to me, only elevated Tony D'Angelo to another level. It made him feel more important having this match with Pete Dunne, because yeah, he was getting wins, but he was getting wins against all these like random guys and these like really nothing matches that kind of really meant nothing. He really only was getting over because of his character. And so finally we have this match here with Pete Dunne, and this was a good match, but this was a good match because Pete Dunne was literally doing everything. Everything that happened in this match was Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne was chopping the hell out of him. Pete Dunne was giving him a nice kick in the head. We saw some nice suplexes from Tony D'Angelo. There was one where he suplexed Pete Dunne, and Pete Dunne lands on his feet, just goes and kicks him in the head. I thought that was pretty good. There's another portion where Pete Dunne has a triangle choke on him and is literally like headbutting him at the exact same time. Tony D'Angelo stands himself up, suplexes him, like that spot too. But in the end, we see Pete Dunne hit the bitter end, gets the win. This was a good match, but this match was good, but it was good because Pete Dunne did everything. Like, Tony D'Angelo is very, 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 very basic in what we saw from him. Like, there was nothing that I saw that I kind of felt like, oh my God, you know, Tony D'Angelo, wow. There were some good suplexes in there, but that was kind of about it. Everything that I liked about this match was everything that Pete Dunne brought to the table. So Pete Dunne gets the win, but then afterwards we see that Tony D'Angelo tries to get back at him, but Pete Dunne senses it, so he attacks Tony D'Angelo, but in the end, Tony D'Angelo gets his upper hand, manages to get his heat back, and that is how the show closes off, with Tony D'Angelo being like, you know, oh yeah, he smashes Pete Dunne's fingers with the little crowbar thing. So that was kind of a sick spot, but so this is definitely going to continue between Pete Dunne and Tony D'Angelo. So it'll be good. I like this. I think this is elevating Tony D'Angelo. Pete Dunne is a great opponent to do that with. And that's pretty much it, guys. Let's see what we got here. This is a comment from Tony Kanaman Karan, who says Tony D needs to be a Jimmy John sub commercial. Yeah, I finally saw that commercial. Justin Martin says really good TV main event. Dunne's always great, and D'Angelo put a strong showing. Pal Driver Finisher says Pete Dunne is not paying protection money, but you're in Tony D'Angelo's neighborhood. My favorite part also towards the end, when Tony D kept saying, I'm Tony D. I'm Tony D. It reminded me of Sandra D from Grease. That's what it reminded me of. All right. That's pretty much it, guys. There you go. That was NXT 2.0, the December 21st edition. Overall, a pretty decent show. Happy to keep building up NXT 2.0. Other than that, tomorrow, please come back. I will be here tomorrow to talk about AEW Dynamite Holiday Bash. And then Friday, we do have Christmas Eve's SmackDown edition of Christmas Eve. I will not be live after SmackDown, but I will be live on Saturday after Rampage. So Saturday we have a special edition of Rampage, the Holiday Bash Rampage edition on Saturday. So as soon as Rampage is over, I'm going to go live and I will be talking about both SmackDown and Rampage. So I'm going to talk about Rampage right after, but I'm going to talk about SmackDown a day after. So I will be covering SmackDown and Rampage just on Saturday, again, following Rampage. And then also, if you haven't already, up already on this channel right now is my best of AEW and WWE stream. So if you did not watch that one, check it out, guys. I had a really good time doing that stream. I basically went over 9 different topics, including best matches of the year, best wrestlers of the year, best moments of the year, etc. The best of pretty much everything that we saw in both AEW and WWE. So I did that stream. That stream is up here where you guys can go ahead and check it out already. Really fun show. I think you guys will have a good time. And it was a good way to sort of look back at the year. Additionally, please do not forget to head on over to youtube.com/Denise Salcedo. I am working on getting a huge interview. As of right now, I have that interview in the books. It's supposed to happen this week, and fingers crossed, because if it does happen and everything turns out okay, it is going to be my biggest interview of the year. And if that interview happens and all goes well, we'll be very, very excited about it. I am already very excited about it and a little nervous too. That should tell you how big it is. I'm nervous about it. So yes, youtube.com/Denise Salcedo. If you haven't already, Twitter and Instagram @_Denise Salcedo. Twitter, I am less than 3,000 followers away from hitting 50K. If you guys want to go and support, give some love, I would very much appreciate it. Other than that, I will see you back here tomorrow for AEW Dynamite Holiday Bash. Bye, everybody.